play of the game from way down.
True, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bombs going.
Oh my goodness, the ring. Bombstastic gonna find Rainer.
Oh, the life finder keeps Maev up. It was gonna be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Alrighty, and I need to fix Discord again because I already screwed that up. Way to go, Aero. Alright, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sunday replay. I am joined now by Ektar, the one and only. I'm really out of place with my Vanna White movements here. Say hello to everybody, Ektar. I can adjust you a little bit too on the screen.
Hello to everybody. How is, well, everybody?
There you go. So, match number 5 tonight going to be between Painfully Average and Censored, once again, Division D. And so we're going to get right into it here. So Infernal Shrines is going to be the map between these teams. And you are in a group with me. That's good.
Yep, and we are ready and set to do a brawl, because that's definitely what we're doing right now, right?
I think so. Please don't do that again. Oh, God. Okay, good. Oh, man. Get this show started. You were around earlier when I was having that issue with the game loading, right?
Not for that particular issue. I've been ostensibly doing homework like all afternoon, but mostly I've been occasionally watching streams.
Okay, fair enough. There was a problem with the Yavapai County youth chess and swim teams replays because they were such a long name that the system didn't want to let me pull them up. So, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So there you go. All right. Ektar, choose the team that you would like to announce, and let's get the show on the road.
Spawning in on the right side, we have Geo playing Imperius, Rip the Jacker playing Orphea, Gallows playing Ana, Fire Fry playing Maev, and Ronin playing Garrosh.
Alrighty. And I hope these teams are on the correct sides now that I think about it. We have Lord Gold playing Arthas, Desmond on Uther, Hufflepuffin on the Diva, Willows on Jaina, and Gingermancer on Rainer.
And yes, I just tabbed out for a sec to confirm that the right side is in fact censored, and the left side is painfully average.
Awesome. Thank you for checking that.
Hate to go a whole cast and have it be wrong the entire time.
Yeah, teams have been switching all day on these, so gotta make sure, you know.
Because why ever be consistent?
Right. So we do see Hemmer the Lightbringer for Uther. So for the auto attacks and ultimately the reduced cooldown on his stun. And they give him some pepper talent for Rainer. Interesting,
though, we don't see Fingers of Frost coming out from Jaina.
Second game today we didn't see it, but this time it's going to be the enduring, lingering chill rather. So longer time.
I'm always interested to see Uther being played in the solo support role.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially with the team that you've got that you're playing against. I mean, I assume that they went for the Uther as kind of an anti-Maev combo setup, maybe? I don't know.
I honestly couldn't say. I don't see either of his ults getting a huge amount of value, but we see actually the first camp of the game being taken over on the right-hand side. Completely uncontested. Very good rotation out from the Maev Ana.
So I think the wave clear advantage slightly in favor of Painfully Average here with the Jaina and, the Rainer, but they're not doing rotations, they're just doing a 1-3-1, which ultimately is what gave the advantage over there to Censored to make that happen. But Gingermancer in a ton of danger here with that rotation down.
Yeah, and with that rotation down, they're all just using that extra map pressure to take the bottom camp away from the enemy team. Jaina's looking like she's going to take that camp all by herself, really slowly. But there we go. Blizzard comes out. That'll speed it up quite a bit. But that's 2 camps to 1 in the favor of Censored.
And that's going to give them a little bit of an XP lead, about a third, maybe a quarter of a level. And 5 seconds here until the Shrine coming up in the bot lane. It's going to be a Frozen Punisher. So I like them coming up here, working on this Shaman camp, getting things ready to go so that when the Shrine is up and available, they're going to have top lane pressure on the opposite end of the map to give them value.
On the other side, we have now Painfully Average rotating up to take their camp, but only sending the 2 members and sending them out a little bit later means they're not going to be at the objective when it spawns, which means that Censored will be able to get the more favorable defensive position on the point.
And they are heading there now, leaving Imperius in the top lane to push and potentially, I guess, counter that camp. But all 5 of Painfully Average coming in now, so we'll see. They didn't get a whole lot here. They did get 12, so that's a good start. Ronan throwing Ginger, actually not Ginger, Lord Gold away.
Little bit of a attempted 5v4, but a really good back off from Censored. But their camp actually loses in the top lane, which is why I suppose Imperius had to stay that whole time. But this means that it gives a lot of time for Painfully Average to try and make something happen here. Toss goes out into Lord Gold, Grenade comes out, the pull comes out, and he does still get away. Imagine if there was an Imperius to just lay a little bit of extra damage in there.
Yeah, or a Celestial Charge. Either one of those probably could have ended that Arthas.
Follow-up CC is the best CC. A lot of damage comes out onto Gingermancer, and they get taken down. The Diva Bomb comes out to save Hufflepuffin, but that still puts them in a position to dominantly finish taking the objective.
And so we're going to see a Frozen Punisher in the bot lane. Pretty much the... Wait, what?
Imperius just died to a mercenary camp.
Okay.
F.
All right.
F in the chat for Imperius.
So, yeah, so anyways, Frozen Punisher shuts down structures. So ideally this would have been great if Painfully Average had been able to push with it. They would have gotten some value. Instead, they just get a little bit of the structure damage, about a third of each of those towers, and a little bit of the fort as well.
I think it would have been pretty hard for them to push. They were very low on health. Like, Jaina and Arthas both had very low health bars after that. A little bit of a gank attempt coming out onto Willows. Doesn't get the pull, however, just gets the Q damage. So, good damage, but an unsuccessful gank attempt coming out from Fire Fry.
And up here in the top, so Geo and Lord Gold, Arthas v Imperius. You know,
what do you think this favors?
I don't know. That's a tough call. I feel like it's probably Arthas, but I don't know for sure.
I think that Arthas has the better wave clear with his E, but Imperius has the much better hero damage and sustain, I think. A little bit of a gank attempt coming out, however, from Willows. I think Geo still gets out of here if he's got his Q up, and he does.
Yeah, so Arthas working on that E. Now, turn it off, dude. There you go. Arthas working on that E quest at 4, also has the root at level 1, so he did get the cooldown reduction tier, getting those 5 stacks, so look for him to continue stacking to 10. And I was going to call earlier about the Imperius, you know, maybe being kind of the weak link if they died to the Shaman camp, and Jaina ultimately, you know, making that a thing.
Yeah, it's like the old saying goes: once is a coincidence, twice is a conspiracy.
Exactly.
Hufflepuffin using their extra health bar on Diva to just go ahead and secure this Khazra camp, but all it's going to do is help push out the enemy team's Khazra camp. They're still up at least 1 extra mercenary camp on the side of Censored.
So we do have level 10s online. Some interesting talents here. So we do get Angelic Armaments for Imperius, Eternal Feast for Orphea, on a Nano Boost Warden's Cage for Maiev, and of course the Warlord Challenge for Garrosh.
On the other hand, I think we have even more probably unusual ultimates with the Cinder Ghost, which is a little bit little bit spicy, but Bunny Hop, that's some Ghost Pepper levels of spice. As the big Warden's Cage comes out onto Fire Fry.
Well,
almost
Fire
killed
Fry's
him
the
out,
one that
but
dropped it.
actually, yeah, very good invade coming out from the side of Painfully Average. An above average engage there.
Oh, indeed.
But also we have the Divine Storm from Uther, also spicy. But then Rainer's Raiders and Ring of Frost are both pretty standard picks, although you can't really go wrong with either of Jaina or Jimmy's ults.
For sure. But we also do have the Cindergosa. I don't know that you mentioned that.
I mentioned Cindergosa as a little bit spicy, but I moved past it pretty quick because Bunny Hop.
Yeah, exactly. And how often do you see Bunny Hop?
I haven't seen it yet, so I'll let you know. Big toss comes out onto Willows. But a
solid
really
ring, though.
Solid ring coming out. A lot of damage coming out onto Ronan, just not quite enough follow-up damage with Jaina herself being taken down there.
So 1-for-0 kill, ultimately, as Arthas trying to get away, does have that slow, keeping Garrosh at bay.
Once again, we actually have Geo up in the top lane, getting beaten in lane by a mercenary camp. Has to use his Celestial Charge to get away. And Jaina's headed back in. Or if he actually rotates up to the top lane to make sure that no one dies in the top lane. But this just gives more time for Painfully Average to stay on the point and get more objective. Lord Gold gets a lot of damage into huge grenade, actually gets saved from the slow of the Bunny Hop, and that gives them just enough time to secure the second objective.
And now Imperius was chasing down, trying to maybe get that kill onto Baby Diva, but ultimately we got stunned by the Uther and has to pull back as the Mortar Punisher is picked up here.
And the blue team is much healthier this time around, so they're going to be able to actually push in with this objective. This fort is pretty much forfeit. Willows gets a huge toss, and there goes the Warlord's Challenge into the Eternal Feast. Not quite enough from the Uther to save with the Divine Storm. Gingermancer takes in a lot of damage, but it's actually Maiev that goes down. These teamfights are kind of all over the place, Aero.
Yeah, no doubt. We've seen a lot of that today where, 10 people enter into a fight, or in this case 9, and you just don't know who's going to make it out. One team, maybe they're a little bit better coordinated than the other or what have you, but ultimately, their teams press R, and based on people's positioning, they just find themselves, the OK Corral at noon, and somebody's just a little bit faster.
Finally, now we have Arthas and Uther trying to even up the camp timings, or camp numbers, rather, between the two teams. But both teams are still in a pretty good position, so they just back up, try to clear what's on their side of the map, not trying to push in aggressively and do anything, because the other team really has an advantage to do anything with.
So Imperius up in the top lane still trying to slow down the pressure from the minions, but the minions actually take out that tower. And that's where the next Punisher is too. Oh, goodbye.
I don't care how good of an Imperius player you are. Once you get caught in that kind of an engage, you're not making it out alive.
Yeah.
So another solid gank coming out from the side of Painfully Average.
You know what, Rek? I agree with you. That was definitely an oh no moment.
I would have perhaps called it an oof, but that's just me.
So at this point, if you're censored, you're a little bit behind in structures. You've got your keep walls for the most part, except for mid. But you got to make a play happen. You've got this kind of high pressure destruction comp. The blow up of a whole bunch of people between that Warden's Cage, that taunt, that Eternal Feast. You got to make something happen, at some point in this game. Because right now it's mostly been the other direction. Painfully Average is getting all the Punishers and a slight advantage in winning the team fights.
I don't disagree, but you can never count out Censored in this case. They have a very strong blow-up comp, and they can turn literally any team fight if you get the right Warden's Cage Eternal Feast. We actually see it coming out right now, a huge Eternal Feast onto most of the enemy team. This camp's still being fought over, and it looks like Lord Gold is not going to be the first one to fall, saving themselves with Death Coil. It's actually Uther who's the first to fall, followed very shortly thereafter by Garrosh. Rip the Jacker gets brought down very low, gets chased out by Diva, and Geo is going to go down once again to the combined might of the damage dealers from the side of Painfully Average. They're actually going to try and chase down Ana. I think they can get her if they just commit a little harder.
Oh,
but it's actually Willow that's going to go down. That awkward moment when one of 3 people decides to try and go for a kill, and you get killed for it.
And Maiev down in the bot lane is looking to get pressure onto this fort. Here comes Arthas, though. She should be able to make it out of this. She has a fair amount of mobility. And I feel like right now, looking at Arthas' talents, the level 1 and level 4, I don't feel like he's getting as much value out of those as he probably wants. Level, 20 stacks, 18 stacks. I feel like if you can't get those a bit higher than that, then you got to look at the ace in the hole, especially with the Jaina and the bunny hop and the Arthas. I'm kind of surprised that was even the play, or even the adrenaline rush talent to give you the armor.
I think everyone on the side of Painfully Average has some way of powering up a James Raynor.
Yeah.
So him not to go ace in the hole is a little bit surprising here.
And on to the point they go. 5v5 in the top lane. I think this might be the first time. There's the Celestial Charge with the bunny hop. Red health bar's going down, but the big taunt onto Arthas. The Blizzard takes Orphea out. Hammer of Justice able to get the Maiev as well. And now Geo, the sole member, the last surviving member of Censored, trying to get away from Arthas and Diva. Can he do it?
That was actually an incredible flank coming out from Lord Gold there. He gave his life for a cause, but that cause was 4 enemy hero deaths, and it was totally worth it. I will say, having won that teamfight as convincingly as they did, I'd like to see them do something besides just take the objective here. Willows is staying on it, and now we have 2 other members coming in. Jimmy, I think, has the right idea. Gonna go take a camp, maybe just soak bottom lane. But when you get 4 kills to 1, just getting the objective, I think, is a little bit of a weak play.
Yeah, 100%. And, Jimmy does get this camp, but now he's not going to be there for the team fight either. And I think that's where that misplay comes in, especially because now you might not get this keep. And I think that if Raynor was there, and if your Jaina was there as well, you get this keep, especially with Arthas, Pop, and Syndragosa.
So I hadn't paid particularly close attention to Jaina's talents because I think they're always going to be the same, but I'm incorrect in this case. She does not have piercing, and she does not have cooldown reduction on 7. She actually went for Arcane Intellect and Ice Fury wand. That's why she's having a little bit more trouble with these camps than I would have expected.
Interesting, yeah. Very different build from normal.
Ring of Frost comes out, only hits Garrosh, but hitting Garrosh is good enough if you can finish up the kill. Hufflepuffin gets really low, but is able to pop back into mech. Warlord's Challenge comes out, but it doesn't matter if you taunt everyone if everyone's attacking Garrosh anyway. He goes down, followed immediately after by Maiev, and now they've got a 5v3? 4v3, because Jimmy actually was never here for that, so good job to the side of Painfully Average, winning very convincingly a 4v5 plus John Cena.
And yeah, they've got a double camp in the mid lane. They've got Jimmy in the bot lane. So you know what? Ultimately, they get value out of that decision. They're gonna have level 20 very soon, and they could very well see 3 keeps out of this.
Yeah, mid keep is already free, and bottom keep actually has a lot of pressure into it with this Khazar camp and an auto attack hero like Raynor. Meets up with the rest of his team, and they don't have their eyes set on core, which is the conservative play, because they see the enemy team is going to be 5 in just a second. But they are up level 20 and 3 total levels of scaling. I think they could make a push here, and I don't think they could actually lose even if they wiped. Speaking of, Gingermancer gets brought down really low. A huge taunt coming out from Garrosh, hitting 4 members of the enemy team. Desmond gets brought down really low. Lord Gold manages to walk away. Hufflepuffin comes in, actually trying to get the cleanup. Lord Gold trying to do a lot of damage with that Frozen Tempest. Not quite able to do it. Willow's likely going to get thrown back into his teammates. Not quite, but he does get charged. And that is a 3v1, a 3-4-1. Let's see if they can make it 4.
And going for the chase there, they threw that Imperius in. You know, what I was going to mention when you were talking about the 20 advantage was the main thing that they didn't have. They did have the 20 advantage. They had the 3 levels. The main thing they didn't have was any ultimates. And so they stayed a little bit too long there. I think if they backed out, waited for about 10 seconds, they would have had almost all their ultimates. And that's when they could come in and say, okay, let's make this happen. Yeah, you're 5, but we have, you know, all of these upgraded talents. We've got the root from Cindergosa. What the heck is that mech thing?
It lets you call down mech at a
gosh.
distance, and it deals damage when it falls.
Okay. So, you know, even Execute coming out from Raynor, you know, get these people low and then they just die. So, I mean,
Plus,
they could have done it just a few seconds later and probably been okay.
Recyclic, I would have to go and disagree with you. Triple Shot is the best level 20 for D.Va.
Is that what this
Don't
is
at
called?
me.
Mecha Fall? Yeah, Mecha Fall. Yeah, okay. I've
Couple
never
of
seen
camps
that.
getting taken here from the side of Painfully Average, just trying to increase that map pressure. Make sure that the enemy team, if they try to go in on the objective, they're going to start losing core health for doing it.
For
But
sure.
Censored is going to have to take a team fight here. They have to get a team fight, win convincingly, clear out all the lanes, and get the objective if they have a hope of coming back in. But they've got the tools to do all of those things.
And, you know, the level 20 upgrade to Angelic Armaments, giving the team each a shield and one sword that does additional damage, can provide such a huge boost in damage and survivability for his team. I would like to see them push into this as well.
I will say I'm happy to say it's not my dog for once.
Yeah, sorry about that. To
We
everybody
actually
at home.
see 4 members posturing. Looks like they're just going to give up this objective because even if they try to go in, it'll be done before they manage to get Orphea there. So that's going to be John Cena coming in into effectively a naked core.
Yes, you did hear the other co-caster, yeah. That was Alice. So here they come, and this is a Mortar Punisher, so it's a lot of potential burst damage onto players. The jump onto the Garrosh. Geo popping his Angelic Armaments there, getting the shield. The taunt going out with the Arthas Cindergosa. The Ray of Frost doesn't hit anybody, though. The throw into, who is that, Uther. And we're just seeing health bars deleted on the red side here as now Rip the Jacker trying to get out on Orphea. Bunny Hop feels bad as Orphea getting pummeled into the ground by the mech.
That fight started really good for Censored, but just not quite able to finish up. John Cena providing just a little bit too much stun and damage. And that's going to be game number 1, going over to the side of Painfully Average.
Pretty crazy. So I'm putting up the talents here, and then I'll put up the stats. If you want to talk about that for just a moment, I'll go into set up the next game. Maybe I'll send my dogs off to college or something. I don't know.
No benediction coming out from Uther. I don't want to say it's wrong because they clearly won the game, but I feel like benediction is just so much better than all the other 16s.
And you know what? I would agree with you. The one thing that I would say about that, though, is that the one time that Uther died, benediction would have been very bad for him because he would have been left alone in the enemy team base.
Are you talking about his level 20?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Benediction is a level 16 talent that reduces the cooldown and mana cost of the next ability you use by 10 seconds and some amount of mana.
Right. What's the level 20? Benevolent? No. Redemption? Redemption.
Yeah, Redemption.
There we go. All right.
And looking over at some numbers, a lot of damage coming out from Jaina, a lot of damage coming out from Orphan, a lot of damage taken by Imperius. Actually, more damage taken than the Garrosh, which is probably not a good sign.
It's probably mostly from the Shaman camps.
Oh, man. Geo, if you're in Twitch chat right now, I'm sorry.
I don't think he is. But
Okay.
when you watch this later, we're still sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's still going to be a competitive game number 2, though. Like, there was workings of things that could have been fantastic coming out from the side of Censored. It just never quite all came together. We never got the huge Warden Cage with the Eternal Feast in it and the Warlord's Challenge just for the extra CC. All of those things happened, but never all at the same time.
Yep. Well, we've got game number 2 all set up and ready to go here between Painfully Average and Censored.
Well, then I should probably leave this replay.
Yes, you probably should. Let me know when you're set up and ready to go here.
I'm set up and ready to go here.
All right, then let's get this started. Game number 2 is going to be on Volskaya Foundry. Wait, why does that show? All right, hold on. I think I have to restart because it's doing this crap again.
I assume this is what you meant when you were talking about things happening earlier?
Well, this did happen earlier. This wasn't actually the main problem because this has happened before. But the thing that was happening earlier is it would just pop up with an error that said, you know, unable to open da 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 da. Whereas this is basically saying, hey, we can open it, but we're gonna kick you out to a what is that, a brawl screen. So okay, fine, whatever.
Brawl screen too strong. Must nerf.
All right, let's get. Oops, wrong page. Invite to party. Try this again. So game 2, Volskaya Foundry. All right.
Success.
Now it shows Volskaya Foundry. And for anybody wondering at home, this is Alpha sitting on stream. She was annoyed by the dogs. So, the other dogs.
My dogs are not currently visible. I looked around the room.
She showed up
Just
here.
under my desk.
What's your dog's name?
2 boys.
And names?
Titan and Hyper.
Well, one of them was on the stream the other day when we were casting for just a brief moment. All right, let's go over to the game screen and show these pop-ups. All right, after you.
You're too kind. Spawning in on the right-hand side, we have Geo once again playing Imperius, Ronin playing the Muradin, Rip the Jacker playing Orphea, Firefly playing Genji, and Gallows playing Lucio. They are censored.
All right, and for Painfully Average, we've got Willows on Jaina, Lord Gold on Arthas, Hufflepuffin on Diva, Desmerd on Uther, and Gingermancer on Vala.
Checking out some of the level 1s over on the side of Censored. We have pretty much all of the standard ults that you, or level 1s you'd have, with the possible exception of Accelerando, giving you that extra move speed the longer you keep that wall ride going up. And on the left side, we got Q build coming out from Vala, once again Hammer of the Lightbringer. I'm always going to be surprised to see Lingering Chill, and Rushdown is a bit of an odd pick coming out from the Diva.
Yeah, giving her some extra mobility. That's the one that gives her the lower cooldown. So she's going to be able to get around the map quickly. I'm actually kind of surprised to see the Monster Hunter from Vala, only because, you know, this isn't a big, like, boss map, or, you know, I don't expect her to necessarily go off and take camps solo. But Geo in trouble there with Arthas and Jaina is going to be the first kill.
Yeah, getting the last hit with that Death Coil. We actually see Jack the Ripper down in the bottom lane, kind of taking the solo lane down there against Hufflepuffin, who uses boosters to get out of there. Looks like they're going to go consider taking that camp, maybe?
Nah.
And on the other side, we see Genji and Lucio, the Overwatch brothers, making sure that they can get their camp.
So
there we go,
Hanzo's the
Gingermancer
brother.
and Willow. No. Those are the Shimada brothers. Any 2 Overwatch heroes, Overwatch brothers.
Gotcha. I see where you're going with this. All right. So Diva being a little bit slower, I think this favors pretty heavily the Orphea. Allows her to get those Qs pretty consistently, and we see that she's able to keep those auto attacks going as well. But we do have a rotation a bit here in the Painfully Average with the group, the Chili group, plus Vala and Uther. Although Uther being all lumberjacky kind of reminds me of him being a little bit chilly too, wearing flannel.
Team comp wise, it seems once again we have much better wave clear coming out on the side of Painfully Average compared to Censored, and they're going to use that so that they can not only clear the waves but also use that time to take additional camps, just like we saw in the previous game.
Yeah, getting started on that here. The control point coming up in 5 seconds, so they pop it a little bit early. I'll be interested to see if they maybe come in and try to get the support camp, especially with that Monster Hunter.
They're posturing like they want to, but might just be one of the try that they want to get another gank onto Geo. If he steps up too far, Desmond is looking for it.
Yeah, so they do have the two of them, and he is going to be slow, but they don't have... There's Jaina coming in with the follow-up damage that they needed, but just a little bit too late. If Jaina was there a few seconds earlier, I think that that's a kill.
As it is, though, it still forces Geo to pop their will early, so they won't have it during the objective.
And we're going to see Painfully Average get started here. And Vala going into multi-shot build, so she's not even looking at that updated Q. I guess it doesn't have to be Q. The level 16 is just spell power, so I guess either way is fine.
For the most part, nothing particularly surprising coming out of the level 4 talents, other than the fact that I suppose we still have a D.Va in the game. Will never not surprise me.
Now, the interesting thing about the D.Va here, getting that increased charge from the mech damage. I think that's probably the standard one, actually, isn't it?
Either that, or you can get mech charge whenever you block damage, which is another strong contender at that tier.
So we do see the turret going out early, both sides here, actually.
Yep, and we see that Censored is just kind of posturing 3 people around, kind of taking a little bit of extra damage that they don't need to because they'd already sent 2 members off to try and get that camp, which forces Lucio to tap probably a little earlier than he otherwise would have needed to. But it does mean that they are able to even up the item game. However, a big charge comes out onto D.Va, who has to use Bomb to try and get out of there. She does, but Muradin does not. Genji comes in to try and stall the point. Stalls it for about 2 seconds. Orpheus starts popping off, kills 2 heroes really quickly, but then gives her life back for it. This is a bloodbath, Aero.
Yeah, and
what
Lucio finally coming in. That turret sat there for ever in the middle of that fight when who was it? Genji had it. When he went in and died, he dropped the turret, and there were 3 from Painfully Average that could have just picked that up, and I think that would have turned the fight for them because Gallows is already fairly low, and getting that additional damage coming out from the turret would have been fantastic for them, but they missed it.
Unfortunate. I really thought that team fight was going to go in the favor of Painfully Average, but Orphan got that insane double kill and really evened up that team fight. We can also see it's not particularly consequential, but because there's not a whole lot happening on the map at the moment, a big wave actually is building up in the top lane. That's going to start doing some damage to that front wall.
And we'll see how much value that gets here as we do get the turret dropped, but look at how much damage goes into D.Va and Jaina.
An incredible double charge coming out from Geo. Firefly able to just walk away with Shimada Privilege. However, Geo not able to walk away. Everyone dies. All of the heroes on both teams are dying. Lord Gold gets brought down to no health, and it looks like Rip the Jacker is the only one really healthy at the end of that team fight. Orphan is just putting the team on her back right now.
No doubt. And Genji, not a lot of health at this point, so when he comes out of this, he's probably going to be about half health or so because of the health regen continuing on. So they're going to get this structure damage. It's going to allow them to get level 10 first, and then they're going to start moving up. They don't have any wave up here, so I think I'm okay with that. They did take some damage, but they didn't have a whole lot of support behind them, so be it.
Yeah, it's really hard to kill a full cooldown Genji, though, even if he has relatively low health.
Holy cow. I thought he would have had more health coming out of that.
I don't think Orphan's going to make it out of here, ever. Nope, not quite. Overextended a little bit trying to get that wall damage. But it looks like it's just going to be the 1 kill. I do want to point out, anytime you're in a vehicle and you're pushing up on a wall, if you stand below the southern turret or above the northern turret, you can actually only take 1 turret shot at a time.
Yeah, I mean, even as a player, if you're charging in and trying to take down a tower, positioning is key.
Oh, big X-Strike coming out, hitting basically every member of the enemy team. There goes the Syndragosa trying to get that slow in. Lots of damage, low health bars coming out from the side of Censored, and Murden is the first one to fall. Geo gets in there, Huge contest coming out, but it's actually the bunny hop. The bunny hop is the thing that got censored off the enemy team's map, but Geo actually steals the objective away.
Yeah, so they don't get the XP. I think that went over to blue. Yeah, it looks like it went over to blue. So they got the XP, but they just left the biotic emitter on the ground. You know, that's the second time now Painfully Average has had an equipment right next to them that they did not pick up, and ultimately the folks from Censored capitalize on that. And so now a biotic emitter going over to the red team.
Hufflepuffin just a little bit too eager to bunny hop Genji to death. Trades out the biotic emitter for it.
So getting these turret camps on both sides. Uther and Vala getting theirs. There we go. Now we're trading dog barks.
Yeah. At least that was like 3 rooms over.
Yeah, mine's in the room.
Someone's probably walking out in front.
Oh yeah, of course.
But not a whole lot going on the map right now.
Yeah, this is the pause break intermission of Volskaya Foundry in between the control points.
So while we have a minute and my dogs have stopped barking for the moment, do you know why they are called censored?
I have an idea. Do you know why?
I bet you're wrong.
Oh,
I do.
Really? Well, then let me tell you why, and then you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Alrighty.
My thought was because they had originally started with, they came to us with a variety of different names that didn't work for a variety of different reasons, if I remember correctly, mostly because of different, like ASCII characters. And I think they had one in Braille, if I remember right. And because we told them no, I figured that they probably went with censored. So if that's not the reason, I would love to hear the reason.
So, 2 answers. First off, the original Braille team was Yavapai County Youth Chess and Swim Team. In Braille originally, then they just changed it to that name. Huge damage coming out from both teams. Genji with the X-Strike, but actually Geo's the first one to fall. Hufflepuffin gets brought down really low, saved from death by that shield. Lord Gold gets brought down, and he's going to get taken down by Ronin's Q, who should be able to walk away just fine. Still posturing aggressively, both teams are fighting in the mid lane over effectively nothing. But it looks like Painfully Average is going to actually be able to be the first team to walk up and take point on the objective, maybe. So Yavapai Youth County, etc. was originally a team that had an office reference that was all in Braille. So that's where that came from.
Got it.
Censored was actually originally called Rectum.
Oh, that's right.
But in the same division, there was already a team Rectum, and so we asked them to change so it wouldn't be confusing.
So I was in the right line of thinking that it was because they were originally a different name. I just got them mixed up with the other team.
That is correct.
Gotcha.
But I was technically correct, which is the best kind of correct.
100%. I agree. And they're coming off the point here to make this fight. Celestial Charge onto the Jaina. Good night. Arthas in danger, very low, trying to make it out. The Biotic Emitter is used to keep the team healthy, so no significant damage coming out on the red. But there's the Q stuns coming out from both of the front line, and Vala now going to be the next death. So no damage dealers on the side of Painfully Average to really stall this out. 68% already on the channel, so this should be, in theory, a protector for Censored.
I'm really impressed with Geo this game. Game number 1, dies in lane to a mercenary camp. Game number 2, dictates who lives and who dies at the end of his spear.
And there's another one. Really landing those Celestial Charges right onto his targets just every single time.
And not only that, his team has been there to follow up on that stun. Like, both of those kills started with a charge into everyone attacking them all at the same time. Really good focus fire coming out.
And look at that
a lot of damage coming out onto Lord Gold, but Eternal Feast is not going to be able to secure that kill all by itself.
Yeah, and Geo, once again, in the mid lane, let's pop up these talents because we do have 16s coming online. So now that the top fort is down, they've got 45 seconds, about half of the Protector's health left. They're going to go ahead and start working on the mid fort as well. Hufflepuffin getting low on the mech there, pops the, I don't know what it's called, but the trigger that keeps the mech from dying and giving it a little bit of a shield. It's right here.
Emergency shielding.
Indeed it is. And Bunny Hop
Bunny
going
Hop
out.
only really hitting the Triglav, which can't actually be slowed. Diva Bomb is going to finish off the Triglav, but then so many other people get killed instead.
Big Divine Storm in the backline there. Desmond trying to make sure that they get the kill onto Genji, and they do. So a good trade for them, you know, 2 for 2, which, you know, considering where that started, it could have certainly gone another direction.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It looked like it was going to start really bad for Censored, but they pulled that back very well.
So, again, both of them at the same time here, getting onto their turret camps. And Geo working on keeping that top lane pressure going. Now he's going to come down because recognizing that they may come in and invade, but a little bit too late. They are able to pick that up and get out of dodge.
Yeah, and we are in the second pause on Volskaya, wherein both teams take what's safe for them on their side of the map and don't try to do anything aggressive. We do see Censored posturing around this Biotic emitter camp, which would be huge if they manage to pick it up, but it looks like we're about to have another bloodbath team fight over an item point.
And this one, Genji's not quite here for, but they're taking their time. There's Arthas coming in onto Ronin against the root.
Ronin.
Good night.
Big charge comes out onto Lord Gold. There comes the damage. Lord Gold gets brought down really low, gets chased out by Fire Fry. He's able to get away. X-Strike comes out primarily to save Genji. He's chasing really hard for Lord Gold. I don't think he's actually going to get him. Both of the turret camps are popped over on the side of Censored, and they use that overextended chase to actually pick up the item, but they gave up at least 2 kills for it. 3 kills for it.
Yeah.
Oh, Geo, no. You stay to get the item. Drop the item. Drop it. You're not getting out.
My
Ooh, drops it in the wrong way.
And that's, you know, that's not the moment you want to have. This, you know, now Arthas is able to shut down this tower. This is definitely going to be in their favor. Orphea 1v essentially 4ing into the enemy team. This is not good. Orphea is out for 50 seconds. They have a camp. They're picking up a second camp. They could very likely get the keep at this point, I think, with all the damage they have. But they're not going to?
They'd have to commit the Biotic Emitter, I think, just because Uther doesn't have anywhere near the healing output to actually get the rest of his team healed up. Once again, no Benediction on 16. We do see them posturing very aggressively, and it's still going to be 20 seconds until Censored is at their full strength, so look at me not knowing what I'm talking about. A little bit of funny Rain of Vengeance coming out to get the final hit on that keep, but, you know.
Div D, I tell you what, you cannot predict them. They will do whatever they want.
Yeah, they just decide to take fights 4v5 and then win doing it.
Right? Exactly. 4v5, down 20s at the same time, like, yeah, they'll do it. And the channel going to get started for the blue team here. Diva going to check to see what's going on over there. They're almost level 20, and this is exactly where you want to be if you're the blue team. Going into level 20 at the third protector. The third protector is the one that makes or breaks games so often. They don't have this structure down in the bot lane, so that makes it a little bit more difficult for them to end the game here. But if they get a really good team fight, that first fort's not going to be alive for very long.
Yeah, this is a position where Censored, I think, is making the correct call, trying to just push out the rest of the lanes, make sure that they can get level 20 without dying, because I think that as long as they can take intelligent fights, they can fight the Triglav. They can defeat it before it takes out their core, and that's really the part that matters. They're taking a bit of a wild play pushing out this mid lane, though.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad call, because they can actually get this
core
keep.
race, do you think?
I don't know. They could do it because the protector's still bot lane.
So is Arthas. There's only 2 people here on the defense. Ring comes out, kind of whiffs, but there goes the beat drop to make sure that he stays alive. And let's see how they follow up. Ronin tries to jump in on Willows, and no, okay, it looks like they're just gonna get the keep and back out. Question mark. Go up to the top keep.
Oh,
you're right. I have no idea what these teams are doing. None at all.
This is a bad call. I mean, they have the advantage here. It's 5v3 or 5v2 2 actually in the top. They should have been pushing this core just straight up. They don't have the greatest core damage, but they...
This Jaina dies for sure. Arth is just Hearth, but he's not actually going to be able to do anything about it. Now it's still just a 2v. Lucio, not having picked up a level 20 yet, you should really get that house party. You'd be much safer. And we do have a core race. I think this is the right call. I think it should have happened a long time ago, though.
Long time ago. I think if they did it at the beginning, yeah, if they did this at the beginning, they win, but they lose.
Aided by two catapults as well. I think if they made this call 20 seconds ago, they win in a landslide.
Absolutely. They started with the right call, and then just too much time on that top
That was
key.
A really interesting end to that game.
Wow.
Speechless.
Not how I expect. I expected as soon as they went for that mid keep that they were going to do one of two things. They're going to push the core, or they were going to get the keep and then back and defend against a protector. They did neither. I'm
totally with you,
and they lost.
I think it was actually... I don't know if it was a little oddball or if it was like a 4,000 IQ play to try and go for that mid keep. Mm-hmm. It ended up working brilliantly, and they could, like you said, either have backed out and defended the Triglav and only Arthas, or they could have just gone onto core. Yeah.
And the worst thing that happens if you go core is you make them pull everybody back, and then you back away. They lose the Triglav at that point.
Well, the worst that happens is you wipe an enemy team's core and you lose anyway, but...
Sure. But in theory, as soon as they see that the Triglav is not moving, they can back away. Right? They know nobody's in that Triglav. They know that they're hearthing. They have 5 to 6 seconds that they can take a step back and be okay. So they can walk away. But, oh well, so be it. Let's go ahead and get set up for game number 3 here. We'll do a quick AFK break while I get that set up. The next game for game number 3. We're not doing a game number 3.
Nope.
We're doing a match number 6.
You were on a roll, and I wasn't going to interrupt, but I could not remember Censored winning a game.
You are correct, sir. So Censored losing that match, painfully average, taking 2 points over Censored. So gonna go ahead and get set up for the final cast of the day. Gonna be Zul'jin Distillery versus Probius. I'm gonna go deal with that so that he stops barking. He needs some food. And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes as we get this set up.